And welcome back to the show, and happy May the 4th. It's not May the 4th, it's the day after, or potentially the day after that. I don't know when I'm going to post this, I'm always late. Anyway, by the way, let me just bring up something about May the 4th. There's not a lot of crap that happened today. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. Really, the only thing of note that came out was the Obi Wan Kenobi trailer. That's pretty much it. We got a lot of discounts on Star Wars crap. Good for the people that have time to go out and buy stuff on a Wednesday. I didn't have time. I didn't buy any of that Star Wars crap. I did see the Obi Wan Kenobi trailer, which is going to be the main topic of this conversation that we're going to have with me, my dude Fred, who, by the way, my dude, for those of you listening on audio podcasts, his name is not actually Fred. His name is Larry, but I'm going to rename him to Fred because there's no consistency with this podcast whatsoever. I like talking crap, and Fred is going to be part of it with me. Fred, the saber-toothed tiger that I just keep because I like staring into his eyes because it makes me feel comfortable at night. Anyway, Obi-Wan Kenobi, let's talk about the new trailer that dropped. This is trailer 2 that Disney has released online. I like this better than the first one. I think that's a general consensus for one particular reason across all the spectrums of the Star Wars community, and that's because we got to see a tad bit of Darth Vader. I don't think I need to say this at all, but spoilers for the trailer. I know that there's like trailers for the trailers and teaser trailers for the trailers now that release for Star Wars content all over the place and for like big budget material, but I feel like I don't need to say spoilers for a trailer, but I don't know, go see the trailer. There's no reason for me to say... If you're watching this anyway, it's probably about 30 minutes long or plus. Like, you know I'm going to be talking in depth about the trailer. Anyway, back to the actual trailer. I got sidetracked so easily. It's good. The last trailer was good. Disney trailers are good. Again, I'm going to go back to the point that I made on the last podcast. Michael Bay trailers are fantastic. His movies are not always great. Again, I think that's the same thing with Disney. I don't want to be 100% negative and say that everything that we have gotten from Disney is horrible because they've given us a lot of fantastic stuff. But I will be in the consensus with a lot of people out there that some of it has not been consistent with the Star Wars that we have really wanted as fans, like ergo Last Jedi, ergo Rise of Skywalker, ergo The Bad Batch. I don't care if you liked that. It was a terrible show. But again, keeping in with the tradition of Disney trailers, that trailer was pretty good. I can't deny that it was a good trailer. It starts off fantastically. Fantastically. That's not a word. I haven't even... Obi-Wan Kenobi is on his own. He's looking after Luke Skywalker. He's on Tatooine. He's by his lonesome. He's being hunted by the Grand Inquisitors. One of them has a slightly disproportionate head than he actually does in the actual canon material. And by canon material, I mean everything that's come before, ergo Rebels and Revenge of the Sith. Either way, it's not that important. The basic things you need to know is the Inquisitors are after Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's on his own. He's looking after Luke Skywalker, trying to hide from these dudes, and he's eventually going to get caught, hunted, and Darth Vader and him are going to have a showdown of sorts. This is a wonderful, wonderful material that Disney has been gifted to, and I really hope they don't screw it up. I really don't want them to screw it up. I don't think anyone out there wants them to screw it up. Like, this is wonderful material. This is a wonderful story that you can work with, and despite the fact that certain people up in the hierarchs, ergo Kathleen Kennedy, want to change this into a upbeat series. I hope that's not the case. I feel like in some ways we got more or less the same from the last trailer, but at the same time we do have a lot of things that I feel like need context in the grand scheme of things. Star Wars trailers tend to be misleading. If you go back and watch the Last Jedi trailer, it is incredibly deceiving on where certain plot lines are going to go and where certain characters end up and where they're going to be. And so I feel like this is the case here. For instance, let's talk about the very ending of the trailer. Let's get to the good stuff first. We see ever so slightly Darth Vader in it. We see his hand being... his mechanical hand being put onto his pasty body, and we see his breathing chamber on his chest being mounted on top of it. And we don't really see anything else. Now, I'm fine with the build-up. I think the build-up is fantastic. The only thing that I personally find humorous about this whole endeavor of hiding Darth Vader's appearance is we all know what he looks like. We all know that they're building up to Darth Vader. We all know the appearance of Darth Vader's coming, and we all know what Darth Vader looks like. I appreciate the build-up that Disney's doing. I appreciate the build-up in the trailer. And then I know that we're going to get him probably in the 3rd or 4th episode. It is only a 6-part series. We will probably be getting him in the 3rd or 4th episode, so there's going to be a build-up to the presence of Darth Vader, and the trailers have been doing a good job with keeping that consistent. I know there's going to be a build-up to Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi's confrontation, and I appreciate that. I just think it's kind of funny that we all know what Darth Vader looks like, and they're really trying to hide what he looks like. We all know what Darth Vader looks like. You don't really need to be that picky was showing him in the trailers. Either way, I'm very pleased with how they portrayed Darth Vader in this. It looked like a horror movie. It looked like Jason being put together. Again, the way that Disney has been portraying Darth Vader in the past few movies, ergo Rogue One, that hallway scene where he was running down murdering people, it was a beautiful sight to behold. It was the one time where I switched sides to the enemy side and said, whatever this movie was about beforehand, it doesn't matter. Darth Vader's here. I will hope he kills everybody. It was a wonderful moment. And it portrayed Darth Vader as the horror movie icon that he freaking is, completely murdering everyone in the hallway with minimal effort whatsoever. And they portray him very well in this, almost like it's a horror movie. He's being put together. This zombified version of a human being is being put together. And now, this is the misleading part that I'm talking about. The reverse shot that they show of Obi Wan Kenobi after they show Darth Vader seems to portray that Obi Wan Kenobi is witnessing his apprentice being put together, and or Darth Vader is right in front of him. Do I think this is the case? I don't know. It's hard to say. I can't say for certain. Star Wars trailers are always misleading, so you can't really take it on nose facts. You can't really say that Obi-Wan Kenobi is on this spot, because they could always take a certain scene or a certain shot from a different scene and put that into the montage of Vader being built. So Obi-Wan Kenobi might be in front of him, or Obi-Wan Kenobi may not be. But the thing that I want to talk about is Obi-Wan Kenobi's reaction to whatever's in front of him. If it is Darth Vader, and I think it might be with the context of the locations of where Darth Vader is to where Obi-Wan Kenobi is entirely possible. The face that he has just looks defeated and horrified. It just looks like Obi-Wan Kenobi has just developed PTSD in that very moment. The man is disturbed and horrified. I mean, you look at him like earlier in the trailer. He seems tired, obviously. He's an old man living on Tatooine. You got to be tired. You're living in a freaking desert. What grows in the desert? What grows on Tatooine? Seriously, what is the main export on Tatooine? That's not important. Anyway, going back to this, he seems obviously fine and tired, but he's not broken and beaten yet. The man in this particular shot at the very end of the trailer looks freaking horrified. So I want to go back to what I had talked about in another podcast with Brandon McKelvey. I believe that this particular part is the part where Obi-Wan Kenobi finally realizes that Anakin Skywalker, his apprentice, is alive, and that the monster that's standing in front of him, potentially, is Darth Vader, and that is his apprentice. Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader, and that is his ultimate failure, like, thrown upon him, like, thrusted upon Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like, not only is your apprentice alive, but he has become this abomination of a human being. Like, he is no longer Anakin Skywalker. He's a machine. He just got put together in front of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like, all these limbs and attachments are on Anakin Skywalker to hold this freaking guy together. He's no longer a person. He's a machine, and an evil machine. We're at that. He's hunting down Jedi, and he's going particularly for Obi-Wan Kenobi. And the fact that Obi-Wan Kenobi gets to see this, and I feel like it would be a wonderful opportunity for Obi-Wan Kenobi to see with his own eyes what his creation was, because Darth Vader is partially his own creation, because he left Anakin Skywalker to burn instead of, killing him on the spot with his lightsaber or just throwing him into the lava. He may not have had the heart in that moment. He may not have the guts to kill Anakin Skywalker, and this partiality, at least in the physical form, is Obi-Wan's own creation. He has done this to his Padawan, and this is just a physical representation of his entire failure. It is now brought to the forefront, and Anakin Skywalker is pissed, and he wants Obi-Wan Kenobi dead, 100% dead. And we know this from the very opening of the trailer. Someone is talking potentially to the Inquisitor, but most likely to Darth Vader. Darth Vader has an obsession with finding Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's obvious within the non-canon material, with the non-canon comics, that Darth Vader has this brutal obsession with finding Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I'm glad they're bringing it to the forefront in this. Vader hates Obi-Wan Kenobi, and obviously he hates all the Jedi. He's hunting down all the Jedi. It's his hobby. It's his pastime. Darth Vader needs a hobby. He can't go out and play golf. He lives in Mustafar. But again, speaking of Mustafar, he has built his castle on Mustafar. He has built his castle on the spot where Obi-Wan Kenobi beat him. The man lives in a daily rage of Obi Wan Kenobi, and he wants this man dead. So, if that is the case, if Obi Wan Kenobi is standing in front of Darth Vader, seeing him be put together by machines and realizing that his apprentice Anakin Skywalker, the good man that he used to be, and the Sith that he turned into, is now a monster, and he is now more terrifying than anything he has ever seen. That would be a wonderful thing to behold, and a horrifying moment for Obi Wan Kenobi. Now, behind the scenes, and from the news articles that I've read and been informed of, I've heard Vader is going to clap in this series. I'm so excited because I love Darth Vader. I'm a huge fan of Darth Vader. I am Darth Vader's number one dude. He was my favorite character when I was growing up. He was my favorite character. It's I don't know what that says when you're a little kid and your favorite character is the genocidal monster who's half machine, half man who wants to kill everybody. It may not be the best role model. Either way, he was my favorite character, and he's still one of my favorite characters to this day. What we've gotten from Disney and from Kathleen Kennedy is that this is going to be a pissed-off Darth Vader. Darth Vader is going to be causing a rampage. This is going to be the most angry Darth Vader that we have ever seen, and it makes sense. But I am a little worried about that statement, and here's why. Darth Vader is a very angry person. He's a Sith. He obviously feeds off his own rage. I understand that part. My biggest concern is that they're going to make Darth Vader a bit of what he was like in the end of Revenge of the Sith. I love Revenge of the Sith. I think it's a great movie, but the ending to where we finally get to see Darth Vader is kind of stupid. That was not the Darth Vader that we are all accustomed to, and it wasn't going to be. But it still looked stupid. Because in that scene, he threw a temper tantrum and screams, "The worst no" in cinematic history. And we all make fun of that scene. It's a funny scene to make fun of. I love the movie, but it's a dumb scene. We all can't deny it. That's not the Vader that we are accustomed to. If you remember back to A New Hope and or all the original movies, Darth Vader is a pretty composed figure. He's very in control. As soon as he steps in the room, you know who is in charge. And we all remember the scenes where Darth Vader was angry and Darth Vader was pissed off. But the scenes that really stand out and what make Darth Vader who he is are his composure and the fact that he is controlled. Remember when Luke Skywalker was going to face his father in Empire Strikes Back? The composure that Darth Vader had in that scene. He was just standing there. Luke Skywalker was clearly the underdog in that scenario and was walking up to Darth Vader. And the entire time he was nervous. You can tell in his eyes. He knew what he had to do. He was brave, but he knew that Darth Vader was Darth Vader. And Luke Skywalker was ready to fight him, but Darth Vader just stood there, calm, composed the entire time. And throughout the entire fight, except for the end, Darth Vader is 100% composed and in control. I don't want them to betray Darth Vader in that whiny way. I still want them to portray Darth Vader as a composed person who is in control of a scene. I am all for him losing it and going crazy on Obi Wan Kenobi and actually lashing out. But up until that point, he needs to strike fear. And I feel like that's where they're going, because that's exactly what they're doing with the trailers so far. They are portraying him as someone that strikes fear into someone. And even the Inquisitor Lady, I don't know her name. I'm just going to call her Inquisitor Lady. Inquisitor Lady says, "You can't escape him." And that's when they show Darth Vader. So she knows who Darth Vader is. She fears who Darth Vader is. And everyone knows who Darth Vader is. Everyone who respects who Darth Vader is. So that's the Vader that I want in this series. And that's the thing I feel like we're going to get. Because so far Disney has screwed a lot of things up, but they have not screwed Darth Vader up, as far as I'm aware. They have been very respectful to Vader through the video games, Jedi Fallen Order, even through Rebels, which I don't particularly enjoy, but I feel like they did a service to him in there. And to, obviously, the scene in Rogue One. They've been doing Darth Vader very, very good. They've been portraying him in a very consistent manner, and I hope that they do the same thing here. Now, for those of you who know about the art of Revenge of the Sith, by the way, whoever draws the art for Star Wars and creates the art for Star Wars, some of that stuff is amazing. If you don't like The Rise of Skywalker, I 100% agree with you. That being said, I 100% believe that you should buy the art of Rise of Skywalker. Some of the stuff in that book, and even the art for The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens, some of the art styles in those books and the material that they drew is amazing. And again, I'm pissed that they didn't use it in the actual movie, but that's a whole different subject I won't even get into, but there's something that was drawn for Revenge of the Sith. It was for the ending fight between Obi Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker. What was going to happen originally, or at least what was drawn and potentially going to be shot but never actually shot, was Obi Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker were going to fight a large, giant dragon-like monster in the Pit of Fire. That may have been too much for Revenge of the Sith, but it could have been a good send-off for Anakin Skywalker, and the reason I'm saying that is because it could have been like the last team-up that Anakin and Obi-Wan had together. They had to fight this dragon together, even though it's technically Darth Vader and a failed master fighting each other. They're going to have to fight this giant dragon thing, potentially toothless from How to Train Your Dragon. So they're going to have to fight this thing together, and this is going to be their last team-up before they essentially try to kill each other again. It's a nice moment between the characters, and it might have been too much for Revenge of the Sith, but it could be perfect for this series. Because as much as I would love to see Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi fight again with modern technology, making Darth Vader the coolest piece of awesomeness you've ever seen, it would be so, so sweet and such an interesting character moment if Darth Vader in the freaking suit and Obi-Wan Kenobi teamed up to fight this dragon, like one last time. Like, it would be an interesting moment to see potentially like a Darth Vader like with his helmet chipped off. Maybe Obi-Wan Kenobi chips his helmet a little bit and you can see his eyes, similar to what happened with Ahsoka and Darth Vader in Rebels. If we had that scene and Anakin Skywalker in the suit was fighting this dragon with his master Obi-Wan Kenobi, that could be such a cool moment, and it could be even more emphasized with the tragedy of everything once they kill this monster and then they immediately go back to fighting each other. What a freaking amazing moment. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm saying you should have put me on the writing team, Disney. That's overly confident. I am saying that it would be a cool moment. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying it could, and it would be amazing. Okay, let's go back to talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi on Tatooine. The man is turning into Jason Bourne. I kind of love it. He's doing a lot of hand-to-hand combat moves, and a lot of people have pointed out that he's using a blaster. He's using a lot of hand-to-hand combat moves. There's no such thing as a lightsaber in Kenobi's world. He's not using the Force. And I feel like this could go one of two ways in the series. Either Kenobi has pulled a Jake Skywalker and blocked himself off from the Force to the point where he's physically not capable of using the Force, which I feel like I don't want them to have any resemblance to Jake Skywalker. And by Jake Skywalker, I mean quote-unquote Luke Skywalker from The Last Jedi, but it wasn't really Luke Skywalker because they really butchered his character, so I'm going to call him Jake Skywalker. It's either that, or he's intentionally not using the Force as to not call any attention to him by any of the clone troopers, any potential Sith Inquisitors in the area, or potentially Darth Vader and the Emperor sensing his presence on Tatooine. Good move on Obi-Wan Kenobi's part. I liked that attention to detail if it was that second part. If it's that first part, I feel like they could still make it work, but at the same time, I really hope that it's an intentional move by Obi-Wan Kenobi. I feel like there's a retcon that they really need to fix in between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. It's very evident that Obi-Wan Kenobi is wearing his Jedi robes when he goes to see Luke Skywalker in A New Hope, and that would have been a dead giveaway that he's a Jedi. And I know that George Lucas hadn't figured out everything up until that point, but I feel like he should have seen this coming, especially when he made Revenge of the Sith, and he had all the Jedi wearing the Jedi robes, and realizing that he made the Jedi robes the same thing that Obi-Wan Kenobi was wearing on Tatooine, and now that little plot line doesn't really make any sense because Obi-Wan Kenobi would have immediately been recognized as a Jedi. You could always make the excuse that it's been years and maybe people forgot what a Jedi is, or maybe people forgot what Jedi robes are, so maybe that gets a pass. I can look past it because it's a great movie either way, and I still love Revenge of the Sith. I feel like I have to keep saying that because I also keep bashing on Revenge of the Sith. You gotta understand, I love Revenge of the Sith, but there's a ton of things in that movie that are not great, and you could 100% make fun of. So you have to be acknowledged. I feel like you have to understand the flaws in order to love the movie even more, because I love the movie even despite its flaws. It's like a marriage. I would definitely be married to Revenge of the Sith. If Revenge of the Sith was a woman, I would 100% marry her. I don't know what that says about me as a person, but I'm putting this online. This is stupid. Now, I want to talk about something that I don't feel like too many people are talking about, but again, I don't do that deep of an internet search. Maybe a lot of people are talking about it, and I'm just filling the non-existent void that I feel like I'm filling. Anyway, I feel like at some point in time in this series, Order 66 may play a small part. Obviously, Order 66 has been done several times up until this point, and I'm fine with it, because everything that we've gotten from Order 66 ever since Revenge of the Sith has been freaking wonderful. Some of the best Star Wars of all time has been the ending of the Clone Wars. The very last few episodes of the Clone Wars, specifically the last 4 episodes, showing the events of Order 66, are some of the best scenes in all of Star Wars, and in my opinion, potentially the best scene in all of Star Wars. We've gotten the video games where we got to see Order 66 again. We've gone even in the Bad Batch. The best episode in the Bad Batch was the very first episode where we got to witness Order 66 from Kane's perspective, who led on to Rebels, who actually got a little more context in Rebels. And even though I don't really like Rebels that much, it gave that specific character a lot more context going into the series. Back to Kenobi, I feel like we might get some kind of new context with Obi Wan Kenobi in Order 66. And the reason I say this is because we have been confirmed flashbacks of the Clone Wars showing Hayden Christensen in Anakin Skywalker Clone Wars attire and Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ewan McGregor in Obi-Wan Kenobi Clone Wars attire, and hopefully Rex and Cody. The flashbacks that they could be showing could obviously be showing them in a battle and showing who they used to be, and this could be a moment for Obi-Wan to reflect, but it could also be a flashback to when he was betrayed by Cody. We get to see that kind of context, because if you see the relationship between Cody and Obi-Wan develop over the Clone Wars, Cody was Obi-Wan's clone. Like, those two were dudes. They were buds. And the fact that we get that context in Revenge of the Sith that Cody definitely did not want to betray Obi-Wan Kenobi, but he had to because of the inhibitor chip. So it'd be very interesting to go back in time and see the context of Cody betraying Obi-Wan. Now, I haven't read a lot of information on this. I don't believe this is the case. It may not be the case. It may just be a tight-knit story to where we mostly focus on Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader's relationship. I'll get to that in a second because I am worried over another aspect. But either way, that would be a really cool story detail to go back and get more context on Obi-Wan Kenobi's betrayal by his clones, and the fact that Cody, the fact that they were buddies, was the one that eventually betrayed him. I think that's a great thing to go back and take a look on, and I really hope they do it, but if they don't, it's not necessarily the biggest missed opportunity in the world. Now, let's talk about the very last part, and the part that kind of worries me the most and really worries a lot of other people. Now, again, I don't want Disney to fail. I think we all don't want Disney to fail because we all want good Star Wars material. And if you like what Disney's been putting out, cool. But I feel like there's a big consensus of people that have not liked it. And I am one of those people. I have liked certain things, but there's quite a bit that I have not enjoyed. I really wanted to take the opportunity that they have, which is a great, potentially great, quote-unquote, potentially great story that they have in the palm of their hands, and tell it the best way possible. My biggest concern over this is, other than the fact that Disney can screw up a story easily, is that they're going to make the Lady Inquisitor, whose name I really don't remember, they're going to make her the main character instead of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, if you were going to make a series about Obi-Wan Kenobi, who's going to be the main character? Smart people, in fact, normal people, would say Obi-Wan Kenobi. But understanding Disney's track record and the fact that they really, really, really want to seem woke, even though if you look back at The Rise of Skywalker, they had a scene with two ladies making out, and then they edited out for China, just saying. If you're not going to go all in, quit pretending to be woke, but also at the same time, please don't go all in. I feel like that kind of stuff ruins stories. I'm saying this because there's an article online that talks about her potentially taking over the series in her own individual story, that Obi-Wan Kenobi might be sidelined. Now, I'm saying that because it's been very evident that Disney does not mind sidelining main characters in their own TV series. Cough, cough, Boba freaking Fett in his own TV series was sidelined by every other character. The Mandalorian popped up, Luke Skywalker popped up, freaking Grogu and Ahsoka. All of those characters popped up and immediately sidelined Boba Fett in his own freaking series. So the worry, I feel like, is that they're going to make this other person the main character. I don't love the Inquisitors, but I think they're okay. And from what I've heard about this character, she is a former Jedi turned Inquisitor, and that she's going to have some sort of tragic element to her character. I feel like this could very much play into Obi-Wan's character arc in this series very well. So obviously with the conversation that Obi-Wan Kenobi has with Lars at the beginning of the trailer, Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to go through a crisis of faith. Now, I've mentioned this before, that Obi-Wan Kenobi is the most Jedi that has ever Jedi'd. He is a very resilient Jedi, and he is firm in his beliefs of being a Jedi. Now, I'm saying that with the understanding that I understand that he might have a character arc in this series, and the character arc might be a crisis of faith in that he may doubt his position as a Jedi, and then at the end of the series come to the point where he is firm in his faith as a Jedi and continues to try and train Luke Skywalker, maybe at a young age, or then maybe relents and tries to train him when he gets older. Obviously, by the fact that he's training when he gets older, you know what happens. It's the New Hope, and then you know what happens. I'm not going to explain it because I'm going to... Because if I don't stop myself now, I'm going to. I understand that he has to have a character arc, and that makes sense for his character. I don't want him to go into the deepest, darkest areas of his soul like Luke Skywalker, but I do want him to have a crisis of faith to the point where he is questioning what he's going to do and how he's going to do it, and if training him in the Jedi ways that he was taught is the right way. Now, the way that this Lady Inquisitor can play into that is that maybe she grew up in the Jedi Order and she felt betrayed or she felt abandoned by the Jedi Order, and that's why she became an Inquisitor. And through that, both of these two could have entirely different outlooks on life, that Obi-Wan Kenobi still holds firm in his faith in being a Jedi, because if you go by George Lucas's original example, then I think, according to Dave Filoni, still says to this day that being a Jedi does mean balance. There's no gray Jedi, there is balance in the Force in being a Jedi. Now, on the opposite end, this chick over here could go about it in a completely different route, where she saw some of the failures that Anakin Skywalker witnessed with the Jedi, and she entirely betrayed them and feels like the Jedi are outdated, whatever, and yada, 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 and that could be her position, and that could be a really good character moment for both of them. I feel like that, if they're going that way and they do it right, that could be really cool. Obviously, I really want the focus of this series to be Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi, because that's really what it should be. And if it's not, that's a freaking shame and a waste of a story. But if they're going to have this character in the series, obviously they can't have her as the main character. I don't feel like that's what's going to happen, but if it is, it's stupid. Again, I know that Disney really, 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 really likes their strong female leads and really wants to be brave and powerful with their strong female leads, but the thing is, if you forget to give them a character, no one's going to give a crap. If we all harken back to the good old days of Princess Leia and Ahsoka Tano, really not that long ago with Ahsoka Tano, then we know and love these female characters because they have a freaking character. And they're not strong for the sake of being strong, and they're not brave for the sake of being brave. They have character. And if that's what they're going to give this Lady Inquisitor, then so be it. I will embrace it with open arms. But if they just give me another quote-unquote strong female lead and then call me a misogynist for calling you out on having no good writers to write a good female character, then so be it. I will be your freaking token person to hate. Or you won't even see this and you won't even care, because I doubt that anyone at Disney is listening to this. How you doing, Kathleen? All right, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate everyone who listens to this podcast and for getting this far. And my guy, Ernesto, roll those credits.